Hello, welcome back to my channel. Now, if you've ever been on football YouTube, you'll have seen the word standards being thrown around. And it's almost a buzzword at this point, isn't it? But what are reasonable standards? And tell me what you guys think, yeah? This is the closest thing to philosophy you'll get to when you're talking about football. So, in my opinion, standards are something that you can't determine on a universal level. Standards are related to the resources of the club, as well as a little bit to the heritage, but not that much really, because let's take for example Real Madrid. They will be the big comparison tool, because they are the poster boy of standards, aren't they? Real Madrid fans, they boo their players at halftime if the performances aren't up to level. They hate their managers. You have one season where you finish second, when the Copa del Rey go out in the semi-final to eventual treble winners Man City. They want their manager out. That is Real Madrid. That is an incredibly high standard. Their manager who has won the most with them. They wanted him out because he won the cup, he finished second in the league, and he lost in the semi-final. Now people would say, this is toxic, this is stupid, a club doesn't operate like this. Except Real Madrid does, and has won more trophies than anyone else. Then people will point you at the opposite direction of Man United, who has tried to do the same thing, where they sack manager, and well, look at where they are. So, a lot of people say you can't just keep sacking managers or you'll end up like United. Or you should keep sacking managers and then you'll be like Real Madrid. It's not that simple, to be honest. Like, if you are a club with a lot of resources that can spend a lot of money on players, then you should expect more from your managers. And you will be able to hire better managers. But if you're a club who doesn't really have the money to buy players that much, you can't expect your manager to win a league title then, can you? Like, it's all about realistic expectation, I think. When you look at Manchester City, let's take them for example now. Man City has won 4 titles in a row. Has the most money out of any Premier League club. At the very least has the most budget to spend. But Man City, this season, is wherever they are. They're, I believe, 5th. Woeful, absolutely woeful. Going out early in the Champions League, bottling 3-goal leads to Feyenoord, playing terribly in the Premier League, barely scraping past Championship League 2 teams in the FA Cup, going out early into Carabao Cup. Nothing is going well for City. And people will then point at the manager, they will point at the spending and anything. But what is realistic for Man City? Well, you could say, well, Pep Guardiola does not have the resources to win a league title, because look at the players he has. So it's unrealistic to ask him to win a league title. But you could answer to that, neither Liverpool nor Arsenal spent any money in the summer, and Man City did bring in Gundogan, who they wanted back from loan, and brought in Savinho for, let's be honest, deflated price. So you could say, wait a minute, you won a league title with this squad only a year ago. Not one of the big clubs has strengthened. Arguably you've strengthened the most, but no one has really strengthened. And now you're 5th. You can't ask for a league title every year. But 5th. 5th. Let's put that in perspective. Arsenal. They come in 5th. Everyone thinks, oh, that's a failure of a season. Real Madrid. They come in 5th. Well, whoever is the manager, he's gone. Let me promise you that. Whoever is the manager that takes Real Madrid to 5th place, he can win the Supercopa, Copa del Rey, and Champions League in a single season. You finish 5th with Real Madrid. Bye. But at Man City, it's Pep Guardiola. So at what point can you 1 excuse a manager, and can you 2 say standards are no longer realistic? Can you keep blaming Pep for the summer, where he should have maybe done more? And that's where the arguments always derail. People always have the arguments from their own perspective. But you can't argue from your own perspective at all times. You have to argue from the club's perspective. You have to argue from what is best for the club. Because you can say, well, it's harsh. But whether something is harsh or not doesn't matter if it's good. Take for example Pellegrini. Won a league title, won a Carabao Cup actually in his last season, and then he was bent off. Because Pep Guardiola was coming in. Bye bye Pellegrini. Is that fair to Pellegrini? I don't per se think it is. But if you look at the trophies that Pep won, would you not say it's best for the club? I would say so. So, when people talk about standards, they always think about the manager and about the fan perspective. They often don't think about the club perspective. What is most important for the club? And that's what I think matters. What will get the club to be better? Will sacking Ancelotti improve Real Madrid? Will sacking Pep Guardiola improve Man City? Will sacking this or that manager improve your club? Now for some clubs, that is not a given. Let's say you are Brighton. Now you sack your manager. Let's be honest, Brighton is not bringing in Simone Inzaghi or Xabi Alonso or any one of the hipster managers that is currently popular. You can't simply sack a manager and say, yep, we'll bring in Simone Inzaghi. Simone, like one of the best managers in the world right now. You come here. You think he's going to Brighton? Same with Newcastle. They've got Eddie Howe right now. The first English manager to win fuck all in I don't know how long. Bye bye Eddie Howe. Who wants a Newcastle job? Oh, no one. Because we're, let's be honest, above average and nothing else. Fuck. So, some clubs can sack a lot more than other clubs. Again, I'll take Man City as example, or Arsenal. Both of those clubs have a lot of money to throw at a manager. If Man City sacks Pep Guardiola today, and I'm not saying they should, I'm just using them as an example again, they will go to Simone Inzaghi, money on the table. You come here in the summer, until then you'll have a caretaker manager. Or you go to Xabi Alonso if he refuses. Money on the table, more than anywhere else. You come to Man City right now, or in the summer, we'll have a caretaker manager until then. You can come here. Oh, by the way, we'll get you words as well. You like working with words? We'll get you words as well. We'll bring in words, we'll get McAtee, there you go. Now you've got a transfer done, and you've got a manager done. 2 in 1. 2 stones and one, or 2 birds in 1 stone. You get the point. So, for some clubs, it's possible to do this stuff. For other clubs, it isn't. So, that's why I think the word standards, it's almost a buzzword nowadays. And it's a buzzword I like using, to be fair. But you actually have to evaluate what is realistic for the club. And I think a lot of people, no offense to Lee Gunner, I don't mean to call anyone out. But Lee Gunner does this a lot. Where he says, well, this club didn't have a good season because they didn't win a trophy. Which, I'm sorry Lee, that is a mid-table team that has like, fuck all budgets. Like, I get what you're saying, but some of these teams simply don't have the budget or pulling power, for which heritage does matter, to bring in these players that they need to win titles, or managers. Like, you can't say, this manager hasn't won a trophy in 2 years at, I don't know, Brighton and Hove Albion, so should be sacked. Or this manager at West Ham hasn't won the Conference League in 5 years, sacked. Like, that doesn't make sense, does it? But there should be realistic grounds for even mid-table managers. If a mid-table manager cannot comfortably get a club to be in a mid-table bracket, like let's say Newcastle, they are expected to finish top 10. If they don't finish top 10, well, they have to ask questions about the manager and potentially sack Eddie Howe. So, Again, and I feel like a broken record now, I've kept repeating myself. It depends on the club. But it should always be about what is best for the club. Not about what the manager has done, not about what is harsh or anything. What is best for the club. And that's where a lot of people will disagree. And that's fair, because football is about opinions at the end of the day. Except my opinion is always right. Anyhow, that's just my opinion, isn't it? Like and subscribe if you haven't already. One final question, I suppose, to leave this video off on. One final question. If you are the owner of a club, what metrics do you use to judge? And it's a hypothetical question, by the way, just something to think about. What metrics do you use to sack or hire managers to improve your club that you own? Like, do that thought experiment. You can answer me in the comments if you want, but really it's just a thought experiment, something to think about. And I think I would always use one metric above all: win percentage. How often does this manager win compared to what I expect him to win? That is my one biggest metric. And depending on the club size, like if we're big enough to win trophies, it's also going to be trophies. But like if I'm Brighton or West Ham or something like that, I can't really use trophies as a metric, can I? But anyhow, that's it for me. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe again if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.